Casap, Mr. Ruffel?
Yes,
Okay. I'll call the matter State of Wisconsin versus Nikita Casap, 25 CF 598. Let's have appearance of plea.
State by Leslie Basie and Brooke Schultz.
Nikita Casap appears in person, in custody, represented by attorneys Paul Ruffel and Colton Ham.
All right. Good morning, everybody. The matter is here today for a change of plea hearing. I was advised prior to the holiday break that there was some type of resolution of the matter, and that it was the intent of Mr. Casap to enter pleas of guilty or no contest to counts 1 and 2 in the information. I subsequently received a plea questionnaire and waiver of rights form and other materials that were consistent with that. Is that, in fact, what's going to happen today, Mr. Ruffel?
It is, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Basie, has the state complied with victim notification requirements, ma'am?
We have, Your Honor, and I believe that there are several victims via Zoom.
That is my understanding. Although we don't have them on video, I understand they are appearing by Zoom. And so that's, I'll find the state has complied with victim notification requirements. All right. So I'm going to talk, Mr. Casap, I'm going to talk to you about the plea questionnaire and waiver of rights form. And I'm also going to ask other questions about your ability to communicate with your attorney and how much time you've had and so on. I'm confident that Mr. Ruffel has prepared you for those questions. And I'm also going to ask Mr. Ruffel about the review of discovery and so on. I'll ask the state as well about providing discovery materials, the nature of the materials, and what's happened in that regard. So let's start with that. First of all, Ms. Basie, are you confident that in every respect you've complied with the discovery process and provided all materials to the defense team?
Yes, we have been in contact with the defense. We've met several times in terms of things that they were missing or they couldn't open. I think that all of those have been corrected and were submitted to the defense. I believe in speaking with the defense, they acknowledged that they believe that they had a full packet of discovery.
All right. And Mr. Ruffel, what about that issue about discovery? Are you confident that you've had the opportunity to receive all the materials that the states had available to it in this case, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Casap, I'm going to talk to you now about this plea questionnaire and waiver of rights form and all the other documents that I've received. First of all, I want you to understand that according to this document, it indicates that the state's offer in this case is upon a plea of not guilty, other than not guilty, excuse me, to counts 1 and 2. In other words, a plea of guilty or no contest to those counts. On or before February 19th, and not filing other motions, the state would dismiss and read in the remaining counts. And at the time of sentencing, both sides are free to argue as to what they believe to be the appropriate sentences. Is that your understanding of what the state's position is?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And is it your understanding, sir, that you and your attorney are going to be free to argue for whatever you believe to be an appropriate sentence or sentences in this matter?
Yes, Your Honor.
And is it also correct, sir, that you and Mr. Ruffel have discussed the parameters, that is, the extent of the sentences? That is, if you're found guilty of these 2 counts of first-degree intentional homicide, on each count it carries with it a sentence of life imprisonment without the possibility of extended supervision. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
But on the other side, there is an option where the court could allow for extended supervision eligibility, not a promise of it, but the opportunity or eligibility for extended supervision after 20 years you've served on each sentence. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
So it's not a minimum, but it's the possibility exists for extended supervision after 20 years on each sentence. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor. All
right. And you feel that Mr. Ruffel has explained that to you adequately?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I'm going to talk to you now about some of the other aspects of this plea questionnaire and waiver of rights form. Mr. Ruffel, you have a copy of it in front of your client?
I do.
All right. This tells me that you are 18 years of age and you've completed 11 years of school. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
These incidents interfered with your finishing high school, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Do you have any problem reading at all?
I do not, Your Honor.
All right. Were you able to read and understand the documents that have been generated in this case? In other words, police reports, statements from witnesses, perhaps, or other documents that have been generated in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
And also, were you able to read and understand these documents that you've submitted to me with the plea questionnaire and waiver of rights form?
Yes, Your Honor.
This also tells me you understand English. That's why I asked this question about your level of education, because it's really not just how far did you get in school, but whether you were able to comprehend and understand all the materials that have been generated in this case. Do you feel you've had time to do that as well?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, this says you understand the charges to which you're pleading, and in fact, you and your attorneys, I should say, have included with the plea questionnaire what's called the jury instructions for these offenses for first-degree intentional homicide. It's numbered 1010, and it sets out the elements of the offense that the state would have to prove if this case went to trial. Did you review that with Mr. Raffel?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand what the state would have to prove if you went to trial in each of these cases?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we're going to talk about those elements in a little bit, all right? This also tells me you are not receiving any treatment for a mental illness or disorder. Is that true?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is it also true that you've not had any alcohol, medication, or drugs in the last 24 hours?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Raffel, I'm going to ask you about as I always do, about the understanding of English and reading and so on. Mr. Casap is 18 years of age, was 17, I believe, when you commenced your representation. Do you feel that you've had a sufficient amount of time to review with your client the discovery materials in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
And there, I presume, were video recordings as well. Did you review those with him as well?
We did.
All right. Any doubt about his ability to comprehend or understand, or let me take a step back. Any difficulties whatsoever in communicating with your client?
No.
All right. So I'm going to talk to you now about your constitutional rights. This document that you have in front of you says, I understand that by entering this plea, I give up the following constitutional rights. Each right is listed here. There's a box next to each one. Each box has an X through it. Does that mean you've reviewed all those rights with your attorney?
Yes, Your Honor.
Does that mean you understand those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
And does that mean you're giving up those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, tell me if this is true. It says, I give up my right to a trial. True?
Yes, Your Honor.
I give up my right to remain silent, and I understand that my silence could not be used against me at trial. True?
Yes, Your Honor.
I give up my right to testify and present evidence at trial. True?
Yes, Your Honor.
I give up my right to use subpoenas to require witnesses to come to court and testify for me at trial. You understand a subpoena is a court order that you and your attorney could get, and you could require witnesses to come to court on your behalf, even if they didn't want to. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is it correct and true that you're giving up that right as well?
Yes, Your Honor.
It says, I give up my right to a jury trial where all 12 jurors would have to agree that I'm either guilty or not guilty. Is that true?
Yes, Your Honor.
I give up my right to confront in court the people who testify against me and cross-examine them. Cross-examine means that you and your attorney could question witnesses to test the truthfulness and accuracy of what they have to say. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And is it correct that you're giving up that right as well?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then finally it says, I give up my right to make the state prove me guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Is that true?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you discuss the concept of what it means for a reasonable doubt?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your attorney talked to you about that?
Yes.
Any questions about these rights, sir?
No, Your Honor.
Anybody in any way force you to give up these rights?
No, Your Honor.
All right, let's take a look at the charge against you, sir, or charges, I should say. Count number one in the information alleges that on or about February 11, 2025, at an address on Cider Hills Drive in the village of Waukesha, Waukesha County, Wisconsin, you did cause the death of victim A, who's identified as Donald Mayer, M-A-Y-E-R, with intent to kill that person, contrary to Wisconsin law listed in the information. What is your plea to count one, sir?
Guilty, Your Honor.
All right. Count number two says on the same date and location, February 11, 2025, at the address on Cider Hills Drive in the village of Waukesha, Waukesha County, Wisconsin, you did cause the death of victim B, who's identified as Nikita Casap, with intent to kill that person, contrary to Wisconsin law listed in the information, a Class A felony. What is your plea to that charge, sir?
Guilty, Your Honor.
All right. Did you commit these offenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
So as to count number 1, as to Donald Meyer, did you intentionally take some action? My understanding is that you used a handgun, a pistol, or a revolver, and you shot him and caused his death. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you do that intentionally?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you knew that shooting him would cause his death?
Yes, Your Honor.
And as to count 2, Nikita Casap, and the same questions for you. Did you take an action? Did you use a handgun to shoot her and kill her?
Yes, Your Honor.
Was that your intent, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
You admit you committed both of these offenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Basie, you offered the complaint originally filed as a factual basis?
I do.
All right, any objection, Mr. Raffel?
No, Your Honor.
Do you understand, Mr. Casap, on your pleas of guilty, I will find you guilty. If you're not a citizen of the United States, your pleas could result in deportation, the exclusion of admission to this country, or the denial of naturalization under federal law. Is that clear?
Yes, Your Honor.
Furthermore, because these are felony offenses, you may not vote in any election until your civil rights are restored to you. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And because these are felonies, it's unlawful for you to possess a firearm. If you ever possess a firearm, you could be found guilty of a serious offense resulting in up to a 10-year term of imprisonment and a $25,000 fine, or both. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Furthermore, this is a violent felony. It's considered, of course, a violent felony. Therefore, it is unlawful for you to possess body armor as well. Clear?
Yes, Your Honor.
Also, where these charges, the other charges, are going to be dismissed and read in, it means I'll consider that you committed those offenses. I'll hold you responsible for them, but you will not be found guilty or sentenced for them, although I could also order that you pay restitution as well. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
You cannot be prosecuted for those in the future. Do you understand that as well?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you understand if I find that your plea is knowingly, freely, and voluntarily made, I will find you guilty. You're pleased. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Have you had enough time to talk to your attorney about everything?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you entering your pleas and giving up your rights freely and voluntarily?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have any questions for me or for your attorneys at this juncture?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Raffel, have you had enough time to talk to your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you believe that he enters his pleas and waives his rights freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And again, I'll reiterate the question. Do you feel at any time that there has been any kind of impediment that would prevent him from understanding you as you discuss the matters with him? Of course, I'm not asking for any confidential or privileged information, but were there any impediments, or is there anything else you feel needs to be done before we can move forward, or before I could accept his plea, sir?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Basie, you've indicated that you've complied with victim notification requirements. Is there anything you think I'm overlooking or omitting at this time as we go through this process?
I do not.
All right. And I've asked to use a criminal complaint as a factual basis, and I've heard Mr. Casap make admissions to committing these offenses. Is there anything else that you need to put on the record as a factual basis at this juncture?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Casap, do you need any more time or have any other questions for your attorney?
No, Your Honor.
All right. I'm going to find that Mr. Casap has knowingly, freely, voluntarily, and intelligently waived his rights and entered his pleas. I'll find a sufficient factual basis based on the contents of the complaint originally filed in this action and his admissions in court today. I'll find him guilty of counts 1 and 2 on the information. You move to dismiss and read in the remaining counts, ma'am?
Yes, counts 3 through 9.
All right, counts 3 through 9 are dismissed and read in. Again, I'll enter that finding of guilt. We understand that the court is obligated to impose life sentences in these cases, but the issue of whether or not there's going to be an opportunity for eligibility for extended supervision after a 20 years period of time is an issue for the court to take up. Mr. Raffel, what do you want me to do at this point in terms of sentencing? How much time do you need, and so on?
Your Honor, we had originally set early March for the trial date. I'm asking that we schedule sentencing where on one of the days where we had trial scheduled.
Okay. That Friday. Give me one moment. How about March 5th? I believe that's a Thursday.
It works for the state.
Is there anything better, AM or PM? I've set half a day.
I also want to check with the victims to make sure that that works for them as well.
All right. Well, I expect it would because that was a trial date,
Yep.
right? So please do.
If on that afternoon we're available.
All right. 1:30. Tentatively March 5th at 1:30.
It's fine. Thank
All
you.
right. March 5th at 1:30. Bail is revoked at this time, and he's to be remanded to the custody of the Waukesha County Sheriff's Department until the time of sentencing. Anything else from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Anything else from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Good luck, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.